up guys, Javier from That Racing Channel. On today's episode we came to visit a couple of the TRC Street King sponsors, class sponsors. So we have Palm Beach Dyno here and Rare Fab right over here. Today is going to be an awesome day. They have a ton of different cars for us to check out. Alright, Palm Beach Dyno. Let's check out what we got. What's up, Ken? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, of course.
Here she is. Beautiful, beautiful GT500. God, it's so nice. They're good in pictures, but geez, in person,
this color, especially in the sunlight, too.
Insane looking, man.
Outside, it's just.
I think Ford hit it out of the park with this.
Yeah, I agree. My favorites are the lighter colored cars like this. The darker color cars, you don't see the features in the front as good.
Yeah.
So pretty much any of the light colored cars I love.
Sweet. Well, let's fire her up.
All right.
TRC test here. Surprisingly, really comfortable seats.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it'd feel like more like uncomfortable, like bucket seats. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and the funny thing is like these guys up front that are like 240 sit in it, and they're just as comfortable.
Oh man, it's honestly.
Yeah, I was like, you guys aren't gonna be able to drive my car, but they're like, no, I fit perfect.
Man, these things are sick.
I'm getting these embroidered too.
I'm sure there's a nice weight savings there.
35 per side.
Wow.
Yeah, so 70 pounds.
What do these weigh?
The seat itself is 9 pounds, and then by the time you add the brackets, the whole assembly's 20 pounds.
Oh, that's gangster. Oh man, that steering wheel.
Yeah,
that's nice. What is that, like Alcantara or something?
Yeah, and dude, when it was brand new, it was the softest shit. I mean, I've had steering wheels like that, but I couldn't believe how nice it was.
Oh yeah.
And then you got the exhaust modes right here.
Okay, so exhaust mode right here.
Yeah, rev it up.
Oh, that's dope.
It's quiet right now.
All right, so we got
gas.
It says quiet mode, normal, sport, and track.
Idle between the last three, you don't hear as much, but like if you're driving it,
quiet.
like even just like cruising at like 2,500 and you change it, it's very significant.
Well, I mean, you can hear it. You can probably hear it in the camera
idle,
here.
You can hear it on quiet. Yeah.
So let's try it here.
I turn that on when I turn it in my neighborhood.
So now it's on quiet. Instant. Quiet mode. Mega difference.
Yeah. That crazy?
That's wild, man. That's pretty rad. I can't wait to go for a ride in this thing. So we got some tires on this thing, right?
Yep, Mickey's.
ET Streets?
Yep, yeah, the SS's.
Badass. All right, so rev it in quiet and then track. Nice. I think it opened up. Oh, what? That is wild. What a difference, man. Gotta love that emblem. So let's see if we get a shot of these rotors here. Jeez, you said there's about 16 inches?
They're 16 and a half.
16 and a half? Yeah. Massive, dude. Those are some massive brakes there.
And the hood normally has a piece in there that's meant to come out for when you're racing for rain.
Got it.
I just leave it out.
Handle with pride. Like the GTRs, you see that on them too.
This the front end of this car shares the same front end as the GT500, which is wider. That's why they're able to get a 305 tire on the front.
That's rad, man.
Yeah, it's a 20 by 11. These stock wheels are 20 by 11 all the way around, and then the carbon fiber track pack wheels, which we have a set right over there, the rears are 11 and a half. Some things different on this setup compared to older Coyotes and GT350s is it's got a new engine block. It's all the same architecture. It's a new design engine block, cylinder heads, head studs, all that, which makes it a much beefier setup. And of course, forged internals, lower compression engine. This is a 9.5 to 1 engine as opposed to Coyotes, which go anywhere from 11 upwards of over 12 with the newest ones. Not the rotating assembly, but the engine block and heads are now in the 2019 and newer GT350s as well, which makes them a little bit better for boost, if you want to put a little more on those.
These things are awesome. We put the carbon seats in it.
So what do you think of that seat? I thought it was more comfortable than it looked.
It's actually not bad, yeah. Right? This is not bad. I mean, I don't know about a road trip in this thing, but
that's what sitting on $2,500 feels like.
Feels good. I'm ready to make a hit, that's for sure.
Hell yeah. We heard carbon wheels, so we had to come check them out.
Yeah, here you go. Unicorns. I know quite a few people trying to track these down. Basically, these come stock. Obviously, you see the Ford logo there. On the carbon fiber track pack, Shelby GT500, it's an $18,500 add-on package. Personally, I wanted a carbon fiber track pack, but they're very difficult to get. You have to get a special order ticket. You may not even get one if you want one. Plus the additional cost and the time wait, because there's not many out there. There's probably 10 out on the road right now. Ford's building another 80 of them next month, but right now they're hard to get. But since I was putting Mickey Thompsons on my car, I wanted an extra set of wheels because I didn't want to drive them all the time. And I started looking around for a set of stock wheels, and voila. Don't ask, but I found these for a really good deal.
That's awesome.
They're amazing. They can't go on the car yet. That's why they're not on the car. One tech tip is the carbon fiber track pack cars have longer wheel studs. So I'm waiting on wheel studs for these, for the car, to put these on the car. So I'm hoping to have them on for the TRC event, actually. So
yeah, weight savings for?
Yes, between 15 and 17 pounds per corner.
Wow.
Yeah, the wheel itself is 17 pounds.
That's a huge difference. Rotating mass.
Yeah, next door, we're lucky enough to have Billy Johnson on the property. He's a Ford factory driver, development driver for Ford. He basically told me, he's like, the weight savings are awesome, but the biggest thing about carbon fiber wheels that makes them so great is the stiffness of the wheel.
Yeah.
That's the performance benefit, is how stiff they are, because when you have an aluminum wheel, it's always going to flex, so they have to compromise on camber. These you don't have to compromise on the camber, and you get a much more reliable alignment. The weight, as a drag racer, of course, is a big
deal.
advantage to me. So,
that's awesome.
Obviously look amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, super sick. Can't wait to see him on the car, man.
My name's Ken, and this is Palm Beach Dyno. Palm Beach Dyno is a primarily Ford EFI tuner. We specialize in street cars. We also do quite a bit of part sales online and in person. And we work next door with RareFab for complete builds. Take a stock Mustang and build a full build to even just a quick tune on a bone stock vehicle. Right behind me, you'll see our 2020 GT500. We ordered that as soon as you could, middle of last year, and we picked it up at the end of December. This vehicle we have planned to do slowly incremental mods like a customer would do, but we have other GT500s that are customers that came down recently, and we took it to Palm Beach International Raceway and we were able to bust off some really good times. We had an orange one go 10-1 and a silver one go 10-1, and then an orange one we did a few more modifications to it and some more boost, and it went 970 at 144. This is a full weight car, and we're only about a month into tuning these things, so there's quite a bit of potential. The one behind me has been 1042 at 137, pretty much stock with race gas. The white car is a 2015 50th anniversary car. Those are serialized cars, special edition. It's owned by Francisco Rivera. He put a Whipple supercharger on it, and we remote tuned that vehicle, and then not long after that he went ahead and shipped it to us, and we did a lot more to it. Things like camshafts and blower porting and things like that. The car, believe it or not, on these wheels and tires has been 890 at 150 plus in the quarter mile on the 19-inch wheels. Basically just pull up and floor it.
All right, so we have Snow White here. This thing looks bone stock. And it's been correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but this car's been 8.9 at over 150 miles an hour?
Yes, sir, on these wheels and tires. Exactly like you see it.
That is wild,
Actually,
man.
we've put camshafts in it since then, and it's got an updated blower from Whipple. It's really hadn't gone down the track since then. We just got it done. But it went 890s with the built motor, Whipple 2.9.
So it's making some jam.
Yep. Absolutely.
What's the rundown on the setup?
Basically a Whipple 2.9 liter at about 22 pounds of boost, camshafts. It's a factory 6R80 transmission, so it shifts itself. You just get up to the line and pour it. It does have a G-force 9-inch rear end conversion. Still IRS, but it's the the updated parts. It went 8s without that, but we just did that for strength. That's about it. It's a 50th anniversary, which is kind of a big deal to Mustang guys. It's a serialized Mustang, and this color is unique, and the windows and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Let's go for a spin.
All right.
All of these cars that have been in just drive bone stock. I mean, obviously the GT500, but the other sleeper car and this car, I mean, they drive so nice.
That's the nice thing about the Ford platform. Again, I'm biased, but Ford tuning, they all tune differently, right? I don't know much about imports, but I can tell you that, a Ford tune's different than a GM, tune's different than a Dodge. And other people have similar opinions that the Ford is the most complex, but then it also gives us the best opportunity to get stock drivability because we're able to recalibrate the whole entire stock computer just as if it was, it came this way, So we're tuning these things just like Ford is. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick hit in a gear. It's a little too much for this one. Look at it. Oh, that was nice.
Dude, this thing, as soon as it starts climbing in RPM, man,
yeah,
you can just hear the tires working.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about the Coyote guys, which the import crowd probably likes, is the high RPM nature of the Coyote. It doesn't make a ton of torque, so it makes it actually a little bit more tunable and controllable on the street.
Yeah. Dude, this thing pulls.
Yeah, it's
my man. Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
All these cars, TRC approved. You're gonna get like 10 stamps.
Awesome.
Get this man a fresh diaper.
The gray car is a 2019 Mustang GT Premium. It's basically brand new and only has a couple hundred miles on it. We would consider this one of our turnkey builds. In this situation, customer buys everything through us. We do all the install over at RareFab, all the tuning here, and it's a complete turnkey package at an out-the-door price. That car features a Hellion sleeper kit. It has a fuel system, full BMR suspension, wheels, boost controller, two-step, built-in trans brake that we do through the factory computer. And right now, we're finishing up a few things on it. We'll be taking that one to the track very soon. Right now, we have the car around 15 pounds of boost, and it's making in the 950 range. This is a stock engine vehicle, so the amount of power we can make, we can go way higher, but we're going to be gentle on the stock engine to start, and then the customer may turn it up as we go down, as we progress at the drag strip. These cars will make well over 1,000 horsepower on stock engines, but being a stock engine, you never know what's going to happen, so we try to keep them a little bit on the conservative side. 2018 plus 900 is where we feel safe. I started in tuning back in the early 2000s. I had a 2000 Mustang GT that was pretty much unmodified for the first year, and then I was able to get one of the very first set of billet camshafts for that vehicle, which back then was a big deal for the modular engine platform, but nobody was around to tune it, so I wound up trailing my car 4 hours. Back then I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, up to Cleveland, Ohio, to a guy named Jerry. Back then he was sort of like the wizard of Ford tuning. Nobody hardly knew what he looked like, and you just make an appointment, show up, and he tunes your vehicle. And I didn't even speak to him on the first appointment. Fast forward, and we became friends. And he told me he was starting a new company, and that company happened to be called, back then it was called Super Chips Custom Tuning, because Super Chips was part of it, but it became SCT that everybody knows today. That's real big in the Ford world. And so what happened was, he convinced me that I would be a good tuner. It was a profession that really wasn't popular as far as stock computer tuning. That's what we specialize here. Obviously, we've done standalones for a lot longer, but stock computer tuning was new back then, or at least new as so far as to make the cars run stock after you're done. It wasn't a hack deal. It was full calibration. So he brought me up through the ranks. I bought my own dyno, and within 6 months of that, we got our own shop, and the rest is history. Some previous builds in the past that you guys may have seen. One of the biggest ones that we've done here in the last couple years is James Kakaletras's 2015 Mustang GT. He's actually the owner of the Shop CT, they specialize in the new Supra and some other vehicles that you might be more familiar with on that racing channel. He came to us wanting to be the world's fastest 2015, or world's fastest Mustang with a factory transmission, and he shipped the car down here. And we slowly crept our way up. We took it to a race. We won a big shootout race for that transmission. That was in 2017. And then not long after that, we turned the power up, and we were the very first in the sevens with that transmission. That car went 790 at 178 miles an hour. Another vehicle that you may be familiar with is my own personal vehicle. It's a 2011 Mustang GT. It has twin 72mm turbos on it. We just recently got that up and running, and we were able to run a 790 at 182. And the converter's not exactly right. We're looking for 750s at 190 plus out of that car real soon. Carlos Vera, he's a 2018 Mustang GT with the Edelbrock blower. That car with the 10-speed factory transmission has been 857 at 160 plus. That car is currently being redone with a Whipple, and we're shooting for low 8s, possibly a 7 when the new 3.8 liter Whipple comes out. And we don't tune just super fast cars. Another vehicle that you might be real interested in is the Explorer ST. We recently, the new Explorer ST is a twin turbo 3 liter for those guys that don't know about it. It's now a rear wheel drive based all wheel drive vehicle. So it's really set up nicely for performance. And so far we've been, that vehicle runs 14.0 stock. We've been 12.1 at I believe 112 miles an hour.
$30, $60.
Bone stock with just a high pressure pump changed and on E85 fuel. We'll be adding an intercooler to that soon, and maybe even trying to run an 11 at the next TRC event.
I'm ready to feel this trans. You ready to take us for a spin? Let's do it. All right, time to go for a spin. Let's do this.
I couldn't believe this car when I got it. I know on the specs I was expecting a lot, but it's exceeded my expectations.
Quality-wise, I mean, it seems like they definitely amped up the interior quite a bit.
Especially on the design. There was a couple misfires on the launch with a couple cars, build quality issues, but as far as the specs, the DCT, it's all about the DCT to me. People want to, well, what would it run with an A10? I don't care,
Yep.
This car there's three things about this car that make it a GT500 to me: the transmission, the big brakes, and the wide front end. If you start getting rid of all that and make it into a drag-only car doing a drag pack on it, then just buy a GT, in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead and do a little quick dig right here. It's in launch mode already, so all we got to do is stop. I don't know what it's set at. It's probably set too high for the track, but let's try it. Obviously, we spun pretty good there. I got 30 psi in the tires, and that was.
But you pedaled it, and
Yeah.
and
No,
this
I
thing
didn't do that.
This thing.
That was the car.
No way.
I never lifted.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Dude, it honestly felt like you kind of were like feathering the throttle, and the thing didn't feel darty at all. Like it didn't want to kick out on you.
No, and that's why, you know.
That is wild. So that was the computer doing its thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's their factory launch control. It works fairly well.
That is super sick.
A super skilled driver might be able to pedal it better than it does it, but for the most part, you should just use that. Let's try one more at lower launch. So on launch control, you can set what RPM you're at. I was at 3,200 because recently I was at the track with this. We'll just go ahead and set it down real low, like 2,200, and see how that works. All right, so LC active. That was much better. We just spun the whole way through first, but controlled.
Dude, super controlled.
Yeah.
Guys, I just have to say, I don't know. I'm an import guy. I'm a domestic guy. I like anything that's fast, but I will say this by far blows my expectations out of the water for this GT500. I mean, it is.
That's saying a lot. You haven't even driven it yet.
Dude, it is so much fun. And this thing has, what does it have done to it? It's
basically, right now we're on MS-109 fuel because I went to the track recently. So it's on race gas and
tune and
a tune.
That's it. No pulley.
No, it makes 750 right now.
And it trapped
137.
So
it's
almost 140 mile an hour car. Man, that's mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way.
Tune and gas.
Yeah. I mean, and this is heavy.
Jeez.
We're talking stock weight with a normal driver is about 4,300 pounds. Obviously,
that is wild.
We're a little lighter, but not much.
Man, this thing is a blast. I can't wait to drive it.
The auto, like an auto downshift for you when you come up to a red light. Like, watch, I'll stop kind of short.
That's awesome.
Just auto downshifts. I didn't stop too hard there, but you get the idea.
The trans, especially when you're, so one thing like people can always be a little afraid of, right? Is like if you're blowing through the tire and you have a car that shifts extremely fast, like a DCT or something like that, or even some automatics, and that can usually take wheel speed through the roof on shifts and, you know, make bad things happen. But the way that you're saying you didn't lift your foot off the pedal once on that dig.
Nope, neither one of them. And yeah, it's basically comes down to Ford. They've put so much time and effort, you know, and you can only do so much with a rear-wheel drive car, but they're controlling everything there: throttle, spark, even fueling at times. Not on this so much, but on the NAGTs, they really have put a lot of time and effort into the traction control, which is basically what launch control is during launch. You know, and it's also automatically limiting power in first gear, which we want to get around for the high-powered cars on the track. We haven't gotten you know, past that yet. These vehicles, unlike most Mustangs, have a PCM and a TCM, so we don't have any trans tuning yet. So
that's
the fastest at the track is paddle shifting it, so we can go higher RPM. These are limited to 7,500 factory, but I'm pulling this to 8, but it's
manually shifting it.
And manually shifting, but I think it will do even better higher. But I'm trying to.
That is wild, man.
For now.
I'm just beyond impressed with the DCT. It performs so well for like a street, just dig on the asphalt, you know?
Right. Well, the interesting thing to me, at least, is I've never driven a performance DCT transmission. Being a Ford guy, we don't really have them. I've driven in GTRs, and you know, they were modified. Some of them felt a little rough here and there. I don't really know. So when I got this, it was good, but I didn't really have any perspective. I let some people drive this. Giddy drove it, and he loved this thing, which was cool to me because he knows, you know, he's a GTR guy and knows a lot about those transmissions, and I'm sure he's driven just about every DCT out there, and he was very impressed with this vehicle too. So that was pretty cool.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do sit a little lower in these.
It's a little too low, but that's because there's no. I got sliders for him, but I'm such a anal about weight that the slider was so heavy I couldn't bring myself to put it in.
Hey man, it's all about the performance.
I'm like, I got a 9-pound seat and a 12-pound slider. Yeah, the cool thing on the paddle shifting, obviously, you know, if you want to just hit it, you could hit it and it'll downshift on its own. But if you want to say like do a 40 roll, you just get it up to 40 miles an hour, like this. And now you hold down the left paddle. That's it.
Dude, the way this thing shifts. Is just so beautiful. So beautiful, man. This thing is 100% TRC approved.
That's good to know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, guys, this thing is absolutely sick. Now it's time. Ken said he was nice enough to let me and Sam take it for a spin. All right, dude, so first time driving a 2020 GT500, right?
Stoked, yeah.
All right, man. Have some fun.
First time driving any Mustang.
Really?
Holy shit, this thing goes. Gonna need to do that again. Jesus. Oh yeah. That's pretty silly. I gotta stop cursing. I can't stop cursing though. I don't know how else to react, you know? That is insane. Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much. This is awesome. Woo! Holy balls. So I'm actually shaking a little bit, which is crazy because it's so violently powerful, but it's so in control though. You don't feel like the car's gonna go anywhere. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm super impressed by this car.
How does that do that transmission?
It's amazing. I mean, the shifts are instantaneous. The rear end feels solid. You don't feel like it's gonna slide anywhere. What was also cool is when I was downshifting. You know, it's in automatic right now. Even the automatic downshifts are really snappy and quick. Very cool.
Hell yeah,
Very
man.
cool experience, man. Thank you, Ken. That was awesome.